Now watching the captain.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It's the captain, and I am back with a very special guest. It's his first time being on the channel. It's long overdue. I'm here with the director of Blurred, my lovely co-host of the Internet Podcast, Lelouch V.
It's good, y'all. And I'm not gonna give myself the director of all of Blurred, director of content for Blurred.
Oh, yeah. I thought I said, in my head, I said content director. I just say director.
Yeah.
Then we get old.
Shut up.
Today, guys, we have it's gonna be a ghost stream. So the way I'm structuring these now, I'm usually gonna have a topic of conversation, and then I'm using Twitter now more, guys. I'm engaging Twitter, trying to do some Twitter Spaces, play around with it a little bit more, and it's just a treasure trove of different content, and it's bad takes all around to react to. So we'll start using those. And for anybody watching that's curious what the streaming schedule is going to be, I'm trying for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and at least one of those streams will be a gaming stream where I'm playing something. And I'd like for two of those to be just kind of conversational streams where either myself or myself, including like a guest, will be kind of just sitting down having a conversation like we will be doing today.
Is it a conversation if it's just yourself?
I'm talking to myself.
Are you responding to yourself though?
Of course.
So like you're posing a question and then answering it yourself on stream for other people.
I'm gonna get one of I'm gonna re-download the voice modifier so I can have an alter ego voice talking, and I'm gonna just respond to it back and forth.
Kill Edward.
Oh God. Today is an interesting one though. Today, for a lot of people looking at the thumbnail, they may think I'm gonna hate this man, but I've been a big fan of Mr. Kev on Stage for a plethora of years now, since I was in high school, which was like almost a decade ago now, I think. Well, no, I'm tripping. Oh my God, I'm tripping. 2018 was not that long ago. But yeah, Kev on Stage, comedian, actor, and now a anime enthusiast, for lack of a better term. So for anybody that isn't aware, Kev on Stage got announced to be making an appearance at DreamCon this summer. I'm not aware to what capacity all the way from the flyers. I don't know if he's just hosting an event or if he's going to be doing like a little bit of stand-up or what he's gonna be doing exactly, but I know he will be there.
I'll probably give him a panel or something.
Yeah, it'd be a waste not to give him like some stand-up. Just he's a stand-up comedian. Give him a little bit, give him like 5-10 minutes to work some stuff out. But a lot of the reason I want to bring this conversation up, because I saw a couple posts, and I think GSBG was the first one I saw, where it was kind of a similar vein that a lot of people have had when it came to Megan and Michael B. Jordan in the last like 4 to 5 years, as far as them being fake nerds and them monetizing their nerddom and not being real anime fans. And this one post specifically made a big point. I should have screenshotted the post, but he made a point to say that we needed to gatekeep anime a little bit more. And that, I mean, my spider senses tingle a little bit and wanted me to think about the conversation of the validity you have at gatekeeping a culture or gatekeeping something that wasn't originated in your own culture. I've heard a lot of people talk about gatekeeping hip hop and different things of that nature, and I can understand that. I'm not personally a believer in gatekeeping myself. I think it kind of breeds toxicity and just doesn't really work all around, but I can understand the premise of wanting to do so. But what I do not understand is the premise that I've seen the last couple of years now in different groups where people want to gatekeep, more specifically anime and nerddom, and the aspects of it that did not originate within Black culture or in America at all. So Otis, we've kind of had these kind of conversations adjacent, but I wanted to get your take on the whole situation. And then we'll react to a piece of content that Kev's put out that kind of, I guess, kicked off the whole reasoning why he got invited to DreamCon all around.
So before I answer this, can I curse on here or no?
Yeah, you can go. Do your thing.
Just make sure. Yeah, Gatekeeping is fucking stupid. Yeah. No, I got to come up with some slurs for the bugs and robots and hell divers, but that's personal. But yeah, Gatekeeping is fucking stupid, right? Like, if you like a thing, like let's focus in on anime, right?
Right.
How many anime have I put you on that ended in one season but was great?
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The best way to avoid that happening is by more people enjoying anime, right? So, yes, like I understand the past trauma that you got bullied for liking Goku or doing the Kamea wave or something, or you wore the wrong T-shirt out. It happened. It's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sorry that you felt ostracized for doing something that you enjoy, but like who cares, right? Like it time changed. We used to not be able to do 97% of what we do as humans now, right? Like half of what we enjoy didn't exist 40 years ago. So trying to put this new limiter on it because you got bullied 20 years ago, get over it.
And so before we get deeper into the conversation, I want to share a little bit. So this all started with Kev. His sons are in the anime. Obviously, I think this is who put him on to certain ones. But he did a little series, I guess, on his social media where he was reacting to his first watch of Attack on Titan. I think he did Death Note after that. But it's just I'll probably play like first minute or so of this, of like his thoughts and his content around watching Attack on Titan for the first time. If it loads up, it better.
Come on, internet.
Maybe I'll have to refresh the page because it's been sitting for a second.
No sound. There's no sound.
There's no sound? Oh, I didn't share a sound. I'm tripping. Hold on. Higher screen. That's what I was
Technical difficulties, people. We got this.
Nothing. Spoiler alert if you want to watch it. First of all, let me tell you what's crazy about this show. You don't get no warm-up. I turn the episode on, immediate fight scene. They not talking, they not skipping rocks, setting up the story. These people are out here in the wilderness fighting right away. I said, hold on, I ain't even put my feet down, rub my toes together, got my socks off. Why is this man trying to cut a Titan's neck off with a minute into the episode? After that, they cut to black screen credits, and my boy Aaron, he won all the smoke. That man said, listen, I'm trying to be a scout. Mika said, you trying to hold your boy back. All y'all want to do is live.
So I think y'all get the premise. So he essentially is running down, like it's a 5-minute long clip. So if you guys want to see it, it's on the social media. But that essentially was like the start of his nerddom journey. He's like, from the stuff that I've watched from him on different platforms he started on up until now where he has his own stuff, he's like mentioned nerdy stuff here and there. And a lot of his friends like Pat Cloud, Cleo Thomas, they're like legit nerds. So he's kind of had a lot of that information indirectly. But this is the first time he's made like content based around fully watching anime or like being in the nerddom all around. That wasn't like MCU based stuff. But to your point, when it comes to the gatekeeping, this shit's stupid all around because, like you said, I don't think it works for anything else because you have to get everyone within a culture into a monolith and make them all think the same thing about your culture and what's acceptable to be shared and whatnot. And then on top of that, you have to then hoard all of the content that you create to where no one else has access to it, but then somehow also simultaneously share it with only your people with the internet. It's just not possible. And even beyond the internet, when those newspapers or whatever way you share stuff around the world, whether it be newspapers, radio, whatever it may be, because it's even involving music, it's going to get to other people. And if other people hear it, see it, consume it, and think it's cool, they're probably going to want to consume it themselves and form some kind of a bond with it, depending on where they are in their life or whatever else. So the whole, I understand the premise of trying to keep purity of it, of whatever the culture is, and trying to keep some authenticity into it. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't work. And I think all it does is just creates this vicious cycle of you just attacking people for having interest in something. And if they're not 100% correct, now it's, well, you're not a real fan because you don't know every single detail of this thing like I did because I grew up watching it, even if you get in later on.
You become the bully that you had when you were younger. So again, why do that? Why would you put someone else through what you went through? You think that made you better? You think that's going to make them better? It's going to resent you. It's a waste of time.
But to dive deeper into the core of the conversation, we talked about it again with hip hop all the time. As far as it was a big conversational piece when I can't remember who said it about Eminem, but calling him like a guest in hip hop, which again, I think he himself has said that before. Even in like different verses, he's talked about him on a top having like 6 other artists above him in his top 10, his personal top 10. But I want to talk about a little bit of this thing that we've had as Black nerds, as far as trying to gatekeep anime from other Black people or other cultures in general. Um, I talked to Kaori a little bit about it yesterday because I thought she was going to get on, but she had happy birthday to Kaori. She dropped the Dr. Kaori and I dropped her Kingdom Come video today, which I'll probably check out after this, after I'm done streaming here. But her big point was as far as a lot of cultural items needing to keep purity because people will abuse or make fun or use in the wrong way, rather that be religious stuff like voodoo, hoodoo, and like white people using henna, different things like that, or box sprays and different things like that, and trying to keep that purity, which I can understand that stuff to an extent when you're doing it out of malpractice. If I'm putting on this stuff without understanding the relevance of it or what I'm doing it for, and I'm just doing it because it looks cool, you're not doing yourself your due diligence of looking up why this thing is important and not just like throwing the shit on. Now, if it's a situation to where, okay, this person maybe met somebody of this culture and they've taught them this stuff, or they've been to this country and learned this stuff, and they take part in it because they actually enjoyed and believe in it, I don't necessarily see the wrong in that, especially when it comes to stuff like religion, because usually in most religions you want to, and indoctrinate's a bad word for it, but you want to bring other people into your religion. I mean, hey, depending on who you ask. But yeah, that's my whole thing around it, and the cross. It's just wild to me that you can cross culture gatekeep on some shit that you don't own. Like because
You know who
I
that
feel like it's
sounds
uncut.
like?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, you know who tries to gatekeep stuff that they don't own? You ever been to a museum?
hmm we are becoming the things we hate the most. What up, Con man? Um,
It was good.
it's to that point. It's again, you're becoming the. I said this in the comment in the post. I'm like, you're becoming the white savior that you hate the most. Where you have white people coming to the rescue of Black people when we didn't ask for it because we're chilling on it. Again, my biggest point is, again, maybe you have a different experience for you've been a little bit older, but I've never seen any major Japanese media publication or Japanese people I know of ever rant about Black people getting into anime heavy and influencing it by infusing hip hop or Black centric things into it, or there being Black character. I've never heard them complain about it. So the people that are the originators and that are in the culture do not care about other people taking part of it and making it partially their own. Why the fuck do we care when we are guests within that set? I know people don't like to hear it, but yes, Black people, we are guests in anime. Specifically, we're guests in Japanese culture. We love it, but we are guests in the same way white people and other people are guests in hip hop. We can't have cake and eat it too. That's not how that works. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm kind of rambling at this point.
I mean, I agree with you fully. I mean, if the person who made a thing is not tripping about a thing, why would you trip about like that? That's just so weird to me. Like, you're more invested into it than the person who made it, and they had to like spend money and like go through trials and tribulations to get to that point where they could make that anime. Like, if they're not tripping and if they are also adding bits of the culture into what they create, like, I mean, you're seeing more Black hairstyles sneak into anime. Mashal season 2 opening is a rap track. Like, it's a banger, but like, it's a rap track. Like, he's a Japanese rapper. Like, I mean, going back to the classics, Cowboy Bebop was the most jazz infused thing. Like, it's more jazz than half the American content that comes out. Like, if they are accepting of our culture and realize that we are a piece that pushes that medium forward and brings it into the mainstream, if we making more money, they ain't tripping. So why are we tripping over something that we aren't making anything from? You don't like, if you say, oh, you're trash because you only watched 4 anime, you know, like, you don't get anything back from that, right? Like, you don't, like, it doesn't make you a better nerd. You're not like getting an award somewhere. You're just a hater. And this is coming from somebody that is quote unquote a hater.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not a hater. I just answer things like, you know, with my honest opinion. If that counts as hate, then so be it, I guess. But
But I want to this comment we have here. Says they have, but they also capitalize on our culture as well. Again, if you guys see any media publications or like a bunch of posts of people having that conversation about black people like ruining or not making anime or manga pure, please send that to me. I'm never beyond saying when I'm wrong. I just personally have never seen that in my 24 years of life now. And to your point, as far as them capitalizing off of us and off of our stuff and vice versa, I don't know too many black people that can capitalize off of it, except people that are maybe doing art of those characters, or sometimes with Blurred, again, you're making nerd art adjacent. And even sometimes that's not just all anime. There's a lot of like Marvel or DC stuff that's American born animation and stuff that we mash up in there.
That wasn't Japanese people saying that. That was white people. Get it right.
Oh yeah, the Hanatas and black thing. Yeah, I didn't see no Japanese people saying that shit. Again, most of the issues we have with a lot of the narratives and stuff around that is white people who are doing what we're doing, but more toxic and just pretty bad. If I is what it is. And even them capitalizing on our stuff, obviously, like rap is probably like the easiest thing to capitalize off of right now because you just need a viral track or some shit like that. But it's the mixture back and forth. But I didn't see it. If you can find it, send it to me. I'll put it on the socials. You can again. I'm gonna have you on the show at some point soon too, so we can have the conversation with the proof you bring up if you got the stuff to back it up. But I just personally haven't seen it.
And honestly, like even with that, even if it was Japanese people saying that specifically, right? Imagine if it was like a reverse situation where like a Japanese girl wanted to cosplay as Storm. Do you know like how we would react to that as a black community? It wouldn't be pretty. So like that's just a whole nother conversation.
I think if she went the full like blackface thing, we roasted, but black people in general, at least again from my perspective, if y'all have a different perspective, let me know. I think we're the most inclusive group and culture on the planet, in my opinion. I feel like we let everybody in and everybody gets a piece of our culture, from the music to the clothing styles to the dances to et cetera, and beyond. If we saw this shit, I'm pretty sure that shit would go viral around some black groups from like people sharing it out of like somebody going viral dressed up like Storm. Because I see it all the time from like a white girl mouth, like that clip that went around where that white girl's mouthing the little baby verse and it was a DJ Khaled track where she like she didn't even say it, she was just mouthing the whole verse and just having fun. And black people love that shit because she was just enjoying it and respecting it.
It was mixed. There was also people that were really upset. It was very mixed.
That was weird. I don't know why niggas were hating that. I'm like, Shawty is literally just, and it was crazy. The verse didn't even have the N word in it, so I'm like, she ain't even saying nigga for real. So I don't understand the issues there, but it is what it is. That's a different conversation, I guess. I wouldn't care, LOL, outside of blackface. Yeah, the blackface, yeah, that's wild if that happens. But to my point, I think if people saw the cosplay, we would celebrate the shit. Because usually, not even just in black culture, I feel like if you were to go, like let's say you go to a Chinese restaurant and you start speaking Mandarin to the women in there, they're going to be surprised and be excited that this black person that's not of their culture can speak their language very fluently and be excited about that. I think there's a winning creator. I don't know if he's like a pure content creator or if he's just doing it for fun for a little bit, but his thing was that they've been like Kiori, where he just knows a bunch of different languages very fluently, and he'll walk into different like Jamaican or like black owned stores or Korean shops, like nail shops, and just speak in their native language to him when they don't think he knows what they're saying, and they get surprised in their next after the whole sense of like surpriseness or there comes excitement right after that where they're like, oh my god, who taught you? How do you know? Oh, you know that you speak better than my son does, and he lives here. He's of my culture. Again, when you respect culture, people are excited about that, no matter what the culture is. If you respect it and you practice it in the correct way. Now, some stuff that's like voodoo, hoodoo, a lot of the religious practices, I can't speak to. I know a couple people that practice it, but I've not asked them about how they feel about people that aren't black practicing it. I'm pretty sure they don't like it, so I'd have to ask people directly about that stuff. But anything that's just recreational, I don't think there's an issue with it personally.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that is within your culture, I understand why you want to gatekeep it and make sure that it is handled with care, right? You know, when they tried to say that Travis Kelce like invented the fade,
Oh god,
that was really weird, right? Like obviously, like, come on now, don't do that. But I don't know. I just turning it back towards anime. I just would never understand like why you would want less people in the space if it requires people to continue to run, right? And it's just like, oh, if you like anime and you want more of it, like it has to make money somewhere. Like it doesn't like just keep running just out of your enjoyment of it. You know, it's just it's illogical to try to keep people from a thing that you want more of. If it's a product, it's supply and demand. Like it's really basic. But I guess I'm approaching it from too logical a standpoint because people's fandoms are logical. People's are emotional about that for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. Now I'm going to start rambling, so I'll send it back to you. But
go ahead.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to drag it out too much longer. Again, I didn't think the conversation was a super deep one and needed like all kinds of breakdown on. It was just something that was stupid, and I wanted to talk about it just because it was viral. Just something to talk about.
No, I don't think it's a stupid topic. I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about more. Again, sorry to cut you off. But it's just like, what do you gain from gatekeeping anime? What does that actually bring to the space? You're not like, what do you get, like a couple like likes on your posts when you bash somebody for being a new anime fan? Like, is that all it takes to satiate you? Because like, again, if you want more anime, if you have a show that you love, that you want to stay going, you should be endorsing more people to watch it so it can continue, so you can have more things from. If you want a movie, gas your favorite show up so they can pay. Integrity of the code. I could care less. That means nothing to me. Sure, like there are gonna people that come into the space that are disingenuine, that are doing it for clout. That's in every space, right? Like, you go to church, there are some people in there that are just doing that for clout. It is what it is. They're doing it for the money. It happens.
And I feel like usually you can sniff that out pretty quickly of who's not genuine about their love for it. Like, it's usually like, because you can see it. And usually, again, as Black people, we call shit out when it's corny, or well, sometimes everybody's an industry plant nowadays. Anybody that's fucking popular overnight is an industry plant. But usually we can see that kind of stuff in any culture. But before we move off of it real quick, because I know it's kind of adjacent to the topic, but I spoke with Con on the phone earlier about this topic, because I knew I originally asked him and K-Ray to be on today as well, but K-Ray's birthday is today, so she has stuff to do, and then Con's not going to be back home till a little bit later on. But he brought up a post that I remember seeing from a while back, in which this content creator essentially had the take of women don't like nerds, and don't like traditional nerds. So the creator's point was women like men that are conventionally attractive and happen to be nerds, not the stereotype of nerddom. And I said this to Khan because I understand the point.
Why do you need to stereotype nerddom? First of all, like,
it's more so the negative connotation, like back in the day, probably around your era, or maybe back in Ethan's era, where nerds had the typical body. Like, when you would imagine what a nerd was back then, it was the guy that was unkempt, the basement dweller, like whatever the insults were back then. The guy was saying like people like the idea of like the new era nerds, I guess, and not what is actually nerd then. Is what that's what I got from, again, Con. If you're in the comments, correct me. Anybody else watching this, correct me as well. But that's what I remember from that video. I think it came out a while back.
Newsflash: unattractive people are unattractive.
That was my point. It was, because I've seen this around somewhere, because I think this has been like a thing recently, or maybe it's been a thing for longer. As I've only been on the nerd part of the internet for like the last like half a decade, maybe a little bit more. So a lot of this stuff is new to me as far as how old the discourse is. But I think a lot of people, or a lot of these people that have issues with this, is they feel like they're owed something. because you're the pioneer, you're one of the pioneers of nerddom being cool and being a norm. You then feel like you paved the way, so you have the. I'm phrasing it wrong. Okay, type out in the comments if you can. If not,
No
let me
matter how
know.
you phrase it, if unattractive people are trying to like now say that they're not, I don't even what is the purpose of this, right? Like I understand that people are now, you know, flooding into the nerd space because it's now pop culture. I get that. And I understand that people, you know, again, there was a long period of time where being a nerd was a negative connotation. Now
Mhm.
it's not. You know, there was a long period of time where being black was a negative connotation. Now it's less so. You know, it is what it is. Times change, people change, the world change, just presidents change.
I think part of it is envy as well, because you see it the most when in terms of like Meg and Michael B. I think are like the biggest poster childs of this little syndrome that people have going on, and I think it has to do with the fact that back then in that time period when you looked at those two individuals, they would be these stereotypical popular people because they are very much so conventionally attractive. And that's Michael B. Jordan's point. He's athletic. Again, if you're going off of his training for Creed, um, and because they are the conventionally attracted people that were already high sought after, and now they're doing the thing that you do, now they become sensationalized because they're nerds. Again, I want to reiterate a little bit of what Oda said, or Lalu said. You are a nerd, yes, but at the end of the day, you still are a man first and foremost, and you have to make yourself presentable to man, woman, or otherwise, whatever you're attracted to. You still have to make yourself presentable to them. So it means you need to be well groomed. So go get a haircut, brush your teeth, make sure your teeth aren't yellow. You need to make sure you have some sort of social skills depending on the type of individual you're going for. Because maybe they're socially awkward as well, so you don't need to be like the most outgoing person. But you need to have these basic traits down so that you can attract them from a human standpoint first. Because you can't have an entire relationship based off of just this one hobby. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna get bored of talking about that hobby at some point. You're gonna have to talk about you as a person, and this can't be the only thing you are. And in short, he was saying that women don't like the nerds for the fact that they're nerds, but for the fact that they are attractive, separate of them. So separate of them. I can't fucking read today. Separate of them, so they happen to be a nerd. Being a nerd is about your personality, not your looks. And again, I think that point still stands as
Being
far
a
as
nerd is about your personality. Being an attractive person is about being an attractive person. Those are two separate things. Like if you want to be like, you know how entitled that sounds that you want to be like just for being a nerd? Like shut up. Like that kind of blows my mind. Like you just think you should supposed to be, oh, because nerd women exist and I'm a nerd women should like me. I don't have to do anything to be presentable. I don't have to like actually like go through the process of attracting people. They should just come to me because I'm a nerd and they're nerds.
I don't
That
even think the nerddom is your person. Like being a nerd shouldn't be your personality. It should be a thing you're into that you have a lot of fun doing. But you should be funny, possibly. You should be intelligent. You should be so. You should have something
you
about
should
you
be an
separate
interesting
from a hobby.
person. If you're not, you're just a weeb. Honestly, you're like,
And it dies
and,
out fast.
yeah, and
If if I'm
like
only into crocheting or like if I'm into basketball heavy and me and Otis have basketball in common and we only talk about basketball every day, all day, at some point that's just gonna get old and we have to talk about something else.
really,
It probably won't because of us, but for most people it'll get old really fast for the casual person because most people I think are casual fans of most everything in general. It's just again casuals the median. Most people are casual in whatever they're into. So it's only going to run. The well's only going to run so far before it gets dry, and that being the case, you have to have something else about yourself to make a person want to be a partner with you. I guess. That's
no,
what
it
the phrase
shouldn't.
"I like nerds" should mean. The fact that I'm nerdy should be. If that's
No,
what you're claiming,
no, it shouldn't. maybe they're saying that they like men that also like their interests, because you should have a person that's interested in the things that you like, so you can have like things to talk about and things in common. But like being a nerd does not entitle you to nerd women, and vice versa. Being a nerd woman does not entitle you to nerd men. It just is what it is.
And I feel like part of it too, again, different perspectives, y'all tell me differently. But part of it is too, I think that people aren't, it's not that nerd women don't find you attractive, it's the women you want don't find you attractive. You're not looking at the, if you are the person that looks and acts like what people perceive to be a negative connotation of a nerd back in the day, there is a woman equivalent of you somewhere that will probably be perfect for you because you guys get along very well. But you don't want that person because that person is very attainable for you. Let's keep it a buck. Some people, you have to try a lot harder to shoot outside of your range. I've seen some in college. I've seen some very attractive women with some very unconventionally attractive men. But because that dude was funny and nice to them and did whatever else that she felt like she needed in a mate or a person, it worked out. You got to have more than just a hobby. If you're going to be, again, if you're going to be ugly, you got to be funny, or you got to have other things about you to make that person want to stay. Because I'm not saying that if you're not conventionally attractive, that you're never going to find a conventionally attractive person. You can shoot for the stars. I myself, again, I done got some stuff. I shot outside my range a couple times, and I hit this because I like to think I'm a funny nigga sometimes. Sometimes, and that's all it is, bro. Like I feel it's a lot of it is entitlement, and they feel like they're owed nerd reparations because you went through the bullying and now it's popular, that you were owed back in pay because you were doing the thing that wasn't popular. Again, I appreciate you. Pat on your back. Thank you so much for being a pioneer and enduring the bullying, so I didn't have to. But bro, you gotta be better. You gotta change with the times. You can't be living in the past.
It's definitely entitlement. Like assuming that a woman should like you just because you like a thing isn't it's not the definition of entitlement, but it's as close to it as it could be. Like, so just you know how many millions of people also like those things?
I think how the people that liked them were like, I don't think there's like this huge like baby boom of people that happen to get in. Like part of it is people that got into nerddom, but a lot of these people like already like nerdy stuff already. It just became popular because cool people talked about it. So now we can talk about it. Like we all know a million hood niggas back in the day that watched Dragon Ball or watched Naruto or whatever else, but they didn't talk. Like I think you yourself talked about like you had a friend that you didn't know was a nerd until you were damn near grown. Like it happens. There's a lot of nerds around beforehand, but somebody took the lumps until it got popular. Again, I appreciate y'all for doing that because somebody had to do it. I'm glad it wasn't me. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that people feel ostracized for now not being the centerpieces of the space, but in any space that you're in, you have like whether it is for the attracting the opposite sex or whatever you're into, whether it is in work, whether it is in sports, any type of media, like you have to make yourself attractive to what you want. If you have nothing to offer the person that you're trying to get something from, you're not going to get anything back, whether it be monetary, whether it be physical, whatever it is. It's equivalent exchange. If you're a nerd, you should understand that part.
But yeah, man, I'm not gonna harp on it too much longer. I want to get to some of the tweets that I want to react to. I have a couple funny ones and a couple ones that I think will spark some interesting discussion. First up on the plate, which role was an actress at their best? So I want you to kind of think back to whatever movie or show where you saw, because again, it is Women's History Month, so I wanted to do something to applaud that. But think to like a woman role where it could be a side character, main character, where you think that person has killed it. Personally, for me, because I had time to think about this ahead of time, I'm thinking most recent. Angela Bassett in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Killed it. Murdered it. The fact that they killed her off should be a literal crime. Like Somebody should be going to jail for that. Why would you do that? She was the best part of that movie.
I'm hurt. I'm conflicted because I wanted her to survive more, but I don't think the movie hits as hard if she did not die. Like I don't think like the like the comeback that I'm blanking on her name. That what's his sister's name? I'm tripping right now. Oh my God, I'm blanking.
I know the actress.
I almost called her Nairobi.
Yeah,
Lupita's character.
Yeah, not Lupita's character. No. What? I know her name. I was literally talking about her earlier.
I feel like a fake nerd now. Shit.
Yeah, for real. But
Shuri. Shit.
Oh, you're looking. Oh, I thought you were looking for the actress's name.
No, I was just looking for the character's name.
Yeah, Shuri.
But yeah, I don't think her redemption arc hits as hard if her mother didn't die. Like if she already had her brothers lost, but we didn't see that on screen, so it's not gonna hit the same. But like seeing her mother die in a fashion that she did, for me, like that, the rest of that movie hit a little different because it felt like she was fighting for something, and we saw that on screen personally. But yeah, that was me. It's a shame that she didn't get an Oscar for that. I'm partially conflicted because I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis deserved an Oscar for a lot of the horror work she did before Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, like she shouldn't have got it for that. She should have got it for something else. But they don't respect horror and the Oscars, and they really don't respect black people for real. So yeah, that was like here nigga damn award. Like, hey, we should have given this to you a long time ago. So and Angela Bassett will get one for some random role she does in the future that may or may not be worth it, but she'll get it because they need to make up for lost time.
It's gonna be for American Horror Story, and they're gonna make it into a movie or something.
Oh God! You got one on your mind off the top of your head?
If we're sticking to women, I'm gonna go Tiana Parrish and They Clone Tyrone. I think she killed that role. I think she brought so much personality to that movie that, I mean, not to say she was only one, because I think Jamie Foxx and John Boyega did great in there too, but she definitely added a different level of sauce, and that I hope she brings more of that to Monica Rambeau. We saw a little bit in the Marvels, but not enough.
Yeah, I love Tiana Parrish. I think my first time seeing her was in
WandaVision.
No, not one. Well, yeah, I think it was WandaVision because the Candyman reboot came out a little bit later after that. So that was my first time seeing her, I guess, in that technically. I didn't even give her. I didn't pay her too much mind until I saw her in Candyman, in the second Candyman movie.
No, and the first time I ever saw her was in Chirac with Nick Cannon.
She was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'm glad you moved past it. Spike Lee, you disrespectful for making Nick Cannon a Chicago nigga this time.
Oh God. But moving on to the next one. This is the fun one here. Pick 2 of your favorite fast food ice creams out of this list here. We got the Jamocha Shake from Arby's, a chocolate frosty from Wendy's, a McFlurry from McDonald's, the Dairy Queen dipped cone, the Dairy Queen Blizzard, the McDonald's soft serve, Chick-fil-A shake, and the Burger King sundae. What I will allow you to do is, as long, if you want to alternate the chocolate McFlurry for a vanilla one, you can. If it's still within that menu of that restaurant, you can make an alteration to it. But you got to pick from these different restaurants right here.
So I have never gone to any of these restaurants to get ice cream. And if I go to Dairy Queen, it's usually for a slushie. I'm not a big fan of ice cream.
Yeah, slushies from Dairy Queen? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you don't like milk like that, for real.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. For me, that McFlurry is for one. It's gotta come up. I'm an Oreo eating nigga. I love Oreos. And the McFlurry, I don't think I've ever had a bad McFlurry. I maybe had one that was didn't have enough Oreos in it, but I've never had a bad. When that McDonald's ice cream machine is working, it's hidden. The second one is tough for me.
Letitia Wright. Sorry.
You said what?
I couldn't remember Shuri's actress name, and it was on the tip of my brain. Letitia Wright.
That's what it was. I'm tripping. Oh my God, I called her Lupita. I'm tripping. It's tough, but I would probably have to go with the Dairy Queen Blizzard. Again, that's another one where when it hits, it hits. I've never had a bad one in my life. I've had a bad Arby's shake. I think Arby's has some underrated shakes. I think Arby's is underrated in general. I'm not eating the beef from there, but the chicken, the mozzarella sticks, a lot of the sides and the shakes, At Arby's, the fries, amazing. Just don't eat too much. Just don't eat any of the beef or the roast beef. Just leave that alone. I think the chicken's okay. And then Wendy's is just the hood. It's a hood classic for it. 4 for 4 is hit different with the frosty. I don't know if you had back in the day.
The frosty with the 4 for 4.
So what I had growing up was on the military base, in your report card, when you get a good report card, or if you went to a certain church, they would have these vouchers for like a 99, like a free small frosty, and literally we would just like collect them up from report card stuff on the base, on the military base, or at church. I'd have like an ass load of them because we didn't go to Wendy's like every other fucking night. So we would go. I would have a free frosty every time I went. Maybe it's just a South thing. I don't know if it's just a Southern thing, but the military base and the church will always have a million of those free 99-cent frosty vouchers. You can just get one for free every time. So there's most of my frosties in my lifetime I did not pay for.
Same. Yeah, I've never paid for a frosty in my entire life. Actually, that's not true. I've bought other people frosties. So there you go.
Y'all let us know in the comments what your two are.
Now, if it was fries, that would have been.
Now we can do the fries real quick. We can have that discussion. If you going with the fries, what you going with?
The fries.
I'm going to knock it out the way.
It's probably McDonald's.
Chick-fil-A. Really? Oh.
So Chick-fil-A, if you get their fries fresh from them, like as soon as they put it in the little cardboard container, Chick-fil-A fries are fire. You wait 5 minutes, it ain't the same fries.
But that's your mistake though. Why you waiting 5 minutes to eat?
Because usually if I'm doing Chick-fil-A, it's DoorDash.
Oh yeah, that's not me. I'm gonna get my food. Like,
you know how long it takes to get through those lines at Chick-fil-A? I don't got time for that.
I don't be going that often. You got to go at like the most random times where it's not a lunch break or a lunch rush or dinner time where people are wrapped around 50 miles around it. It's a little bit easier here because we have one near the college campus, so it's not as busy as like other ones would be at other places in Atlanta. But yeah,
I think there's only one Chick-fil-A in Buffalo, and all the people there. Just it's from the time that they open to the time that they end, there is a line outside that parking lot.
I know that manager making bank, boy. For the fries, it's Chick-fil-A first and foremost for me, and then Wendy's sea salt fries. When they had sea salt on their fries, that shit was the number one. That was crack. Like, it was hitting like crack in the 80s, nigga. That shit was hitting hard. Since they fell off, it's probably Arby's. I ain't gonna hold you. Arby's got the second best. Like them curly fries.
The curly fries.
Because they so thick and they cook crispy too usually. And they give you a lot of them. Because they curl, you can I feel like you can slide more in the little thing.
You have a point with Arby's, but it's just so hard to go there because like their food is like disgusting to me. Like the smell of their food is like kind of stomach turning a little bit. Like
it's just the roast beef.
If I'm starving, but like, bruh, like I'd rather go to the grocery store and just get one of the roast beefs or something. Like, nah, bro. Like I'm not going to Arby's on purpose.
If I was going to Arby's, I'm usually getting the mozzarella sticks because the mozzarella sticks I think are drastically underrated. They're a fire. I'm either getting one.
Have mod sticks.
Yeah, they have some like thick mozzarella sticks, like the size of the like they're like the size of Shaq's fingers. Like that's how fucking thick they are. Pause. And then they have this like in the summertime they have this orange shake that is the best shake I've ever had in my life. In the summertime, I'd probably put on 15 pounds because I would go every other day in college in my little internship to take my internship money over there and get them shakes. Some shakes hit. But there's shakes in general. But they got like the chocolate brand, like Giraldi or I can't remember. I'm pronouncing it way wrong. But they're like the little square chocolates. They have like they look like Hershey's almost, but they're like filled with like caramel and shit.
Yeah, the Ghirardelli, something like that. Yeah.
They got Ghirardelli shakes at Arby's. Like they have shakes with that kind of chocolate in them, and they're fucking phenomenal. But yeah, those are my two.
No, McDonald's, and then probably Popeyes. I know that wasn't on the list, but I'm just Popeyes fries. Yeah.
I'm biased because I worked there for a summer, and I allegedly had a lot of those fries. Bruh, after about a good 3 weeks, I was like, yeah, I can't do it no more. I'm going to Subway. I'm going to Subway next door. Or we had a Qdoba, like in the little food court Popeyes I worked at. We had a Subway to the right of us, a Qdoba, and a Charlie's, like on the other side of it.
What's Charlie's?
It's like a Philly cheesesteak restaurant essentially. Where their thing is Philly cheesesteaks, and they have like, oh, matter of fact, Charlie, you know my fries. Charlie's fries hit. I've only ever seen Charlie's in the South here, and I think when I went to Philadelphia with my grandparents a while back, I saw one in one of the malls on the food courts there in Philadelphia.
No, I mean if we throwing an off-brand one in there, I mean Portillo's fries in Chicago.
I haven't tried Portillo. I haven't been to Portillo's yet.
Man,
Next time I go to Chicago, I'm gonna try that.
We gotta go to the right Portillo's, so we gotta make sure that I'm there so we can take you to the right one. We don't need
I'm trying to make it this. I'm trying to make it a C2E2 or some shit at this point this year. We're gonna see how it goes.
That's in like 2 weeks.
Never mind. Well, maybe next year. we'll be in Chicago for some reason. But next thing up, I want to torture you a little bit because I know you're not the biggest horror fan here, but I want to make you have to choose 2 movies to watch in a double feature back to back out of this list here. So we have It, we have Strangers Pray at Night, which I think is the second one. Purge Anarchy, which I think is the second or third one. Pearl, Last Night in Soho, Run, Evil Dead. I think that's the 2011 reboot, I think.
Hate that movie.
House of a Thousand Corpses and Drag Me to Hell.
I'm going to go It and Drag Me to Hell. Drag Me to Hell wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was enjoyable. I am terrified to watch that Strangers movie, not because I think it's going to be scary, but like the first Strangers is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Like just that line, you know, because you were home. Like that shit hit. So I don't want to see them fumble it. I feel like it's a harder movie to fumble, but if anyone can do it, Hollywood can do it.
It's a simple concept. Like you don't have to have no grandiose reason. It's like, nigga, you were just here.
They didn't even have lines half the movie, okay? But I'm almost certain they're gonna find a way to fumble it. It's inevitable.
You only have to develop 2 characters and just have some cool kills, and that's it. For me though, It for sure. Like there's no way I'm coming off this list without It, and I'm really torn because I love Drag Me to Hell. I think was that Raimi or Shyamalan? I think it was Raimi. I think it was Sam.
It was Raimi.
You already know. I like the campy horror. I like the jokes from it, and I love the effects. I'm never gonna I think the ending to that movie is one of the best endings ever because you think shit's over with and everything is all happy go lucky, and bitch, you get dragged to hell, literally, like very cut and dry. This is about to happen, and it happened, and like really dope. Like the effects for that were really sick. But I'm also conflicted with Pearl. Because I've seen X, I loved X, and I've seen like almost half of Pearl. If I remember right, that was A24, I think. So it's the same studio that did Talk to Me. I think it's A24. I could be wrong. I have to look it up in a little bit. The first one had Kid Cudi in it, and I loved it. It was like something random that I saw on a whim. It ended up being really good, really solid. And Pearl's really good. But and the Last Night in Soho was pretty solid too. And House of a Thousand Corpses, that's like a deep horror cut fan thing. I thought it was cool. It didn't really move me super much. The practical effects were really solid. But I may have to go I'm going to go It and Drag Me to Hell probably. Just because I like the campy Raimi stuff. And then It is It. Like it speaks for itself. That's one of the better ones.
Yeah, I don't hate horror. It's just that a lot of horror has been really bad to me.
Fair enough.
I feel the same way about a lot of anime, though. That's a whole other thing.
Well, we're going to end off on another fun note. It's the last one right here. Tacos or pizza? Oh, damn. That's going to be hard decision. Oh, man. Give me your reasoning behind the tacos. Because they're both pretty versatile. You can pretty much do damn near everything with them both.
Only one of them has a day.
I mean, it's National Pie Day, International Pie Day.
Yeah, but every Tuesday.
That is true. Ooh.
And then, like some good tacos, bro. Like some authentic Mexican tacos.
Give me the cilantro. Give me all that shit. Like, give me a little bit of
lime with the onion, bro.
I can't eat tacos without. I can't eat nachos at this point without a lime. I gotta have a lime on any of my fucking Spanish food down there. That's not
It's
like
just
a buddy
supposed to
Coke.
be there.
Ugh.
And then taco. I mean, pizza. I don't dislike pizza, but I can. If I don't have pizza for like a month, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. If I don't have tacos for a month, I'm probably gonna be irritated.
See, the biased thing here is I think because we were overly fed pizza as children, pizza parties, and we were not even giving good pizza, we were giving cheap pizza. So
Little
my
Caesars.
stepdad, this nigga, I love this nigga to death. But if I don't hate him for anything when we were children, anytime my grandma wasn't cooking dinner, I guaranteed you there was gonna be a Little Caesars pizza on the fucking kitchen counter when we got home for dinner. And nigga, I hate it. And it was like every 2 weeks or every other day, we damn near have a little, not every other day, that's gassing it, but like every other week, we was gonna have a Little Caesars pizza in that damn living room. Well, not living room, but in the kitchen. I did not want to eat that
And
shit.
it's still cheap.
Now, what I will say, have you had the new fucking the bite things they just made? They came out with recently.
And cheesy
I've
roast thing.
Yeah, I haven't had it yet, but apparently it's hitting like the Popeye chicken sandwich. Apparently, niggas loving it right now.
Yeah, for my job, like a lot of times, if we don't get something ahead of time, we'll go and get the Little Caesars pizza too. And the girls keep asking for them. I was just like, you asked for Little Caesars. That's like so foreign to me.
I think they've gotten better since I was a child, though. Like since I
It's,
grew up,
it's
I think
not
they got
terrible.
better.
It's not terrible. It tastes less like cardboard.
It was legit cardboard back in the day. So like I think we would have grown up eating like because we had the bad tacos. So we had like Taco Bell growing up, but once I don't think there was an overabundance of authentic Spanish tacos everywhere.
No, people was out there eating the hard shells with the American cheese at the bottom, which is still
Man. All the sour cream. Hey, I'm still always down for a good old trash. I don't do hard shells anymore. I respect the roof of my mouth, unless I'm eating Captain Crunch. But a soft shell with some American cheese, some ground beef, or some turkey, nigga, with some sour cream and some lettuce, no little tomato. I ain't nothing wrong with it to me. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's ghetto. But
It's a quick meal. You don't have to do a whole lot of work. You just gotta make the ground beef and just have the tacos and the sides. You know,
You good, Con.
I can knock it.
For anybody that missed the conversation that started streams, I know a lot of people are clicking on this video to see the Kev on stage discourse or conversation. This video is going to be a video on my YouTube channel at Captain Diesel's Dojo that you can catch after this. If you want to go rewatch it there, it'll be there. But yeah, for me, it's probably tacos too. The Spanish food, Mexican food is like damn near my go-to. Like when I'm like, all right, what am I going to eat today? And I don't really know what I want to eat. I'm probably going to eat some tacos or like some nachos damn near one of the two. And I have like my particular spot for it too.
Asian food is always my go-to. Then going down to like some of the plethora of African dishes because it's like a lot of it's so many different flavors and tastes. So that's my number 2, and then the Mexican was number 3.
Yeah, I can eat some sushi a lot. For my thing, I gotta start eating more ramen. I like ramen and I've had good ramen before, but I just don't eat it that often. I gotta find a good ramen place out here in Atlanta that I would like to go to.
It is hearty and usually a lot of sodium, so maybe not like crazy on the ramen, but once a week, twice a
like
week.
some wheat noodle, some good pho.
Pho hits. Oh, I love pho.
I've had to get some bean sprout in there. I think is it plum paste or like plum? I think it's plum. The sauce I had before. My friend, I have a Vietnamese friend that took me there one time. Well, no, she was Korean. I think she's Korean. It is what it is. But yeah, y'all, if you guys have any thoughts or concerns or just questions you have for future streams, let me know in the comments below here. You can find it on my YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be utilizing the community tab there a lot more to try to keep in touch with people that want to suggest things. And then going into the future, what I'm going to try to do as well for these streams, for people that are watching that may want to pop in real quick for a conversation, I'm going to start posting the StreamYard link in the comment section of the videos below. So y'all can click on those and pop in for a little bit and kind of rebuttal any of the points we've been discussing, or even bring another question up for like a Q&A section at the end of these streams. Well, matter of fact, I got time. I can throw it in there real quick now. For anybody watching that would like to do so, I'll throw it in there. I'll wait like 3-ish minutes. If nobody comes in, then we'll call it
Just to circle back around to the main topic for the new people. If you are gatekeeping, you are literally working against the medium that you enjoy. You can just choose to talk to people who enjoy it the way that you enjoy it, or that have been doing it as long as you have, but actively trying to berate people for enjoying a thing that requires money to stay functional is a waste of time.
Yeah, it again, to my point before, I don't think that gatekeeping works at all. I think you can discuss it, you can try to practice it. Like let's say that again, going back to the hip hop thing, just because I can speak to that the most because it's part of the culture that I grew up on. Let's say getting into rap music, right? We as black people all said we're not gonna allow no other rap like reggaeton, like any kind of other country doing rap, not K-pop, K-trap, all that shit, Keith Abel. We're not going for none of that shit no more. You would have to get every single black person on the same accord to be like, we're not fucking with none of that shit anymore. We're not going to export our music anywhere else in the country. For one, it ain't gonna work because niggas want to make money. Like, I think that's the biggest. Kaori made a good point with that in our discussion about it. Before anything else, people want to make money, and exporting that stuff to the outside world makes you money. And then two, it's no fun if you just. That's my thing. Like, you can enjoy your culture with your own people, but I feel like I don't think us as human beings, because I guess it's the sociology degree that's coming out of me. When you look at history, at the most successful empires that have ever conquered the world or ruled parts of the world, it was 9 times out of 10 in its formation, people from different tribes or groups that pulled resources together and found some commonality, and they became the new group or the new culture. And then they would have dominated everybody else and then brought them into whatever empire they were building, and they dominated for years until it inevitably crumbled because nothing lasts forever. So when you hoard resources, I think it just keeps you weak over time, or it keeps you stagnant because you don't ever grow. You don't allow your stuff to morph and evolve over time. You're just keeping this old thought process and cultural norm that doesn't change with the times. And that's how you get into a lot of honestly, to me, it's a big reason why like racism is probably not 100% still a thing, but a part of that is because like those old trends of looking at different people a certain way is still being hoarded in these small towns or small family areas, and you're never letting them go. And it gets let go sometimes when people in that family get outside and sometimes meet other people of other cultures, and they like, okay, I formed a thought process of my own accord in my own brain. Or usually what there's is the baby involved, and you kind of don't have a choice but to love your grandchildren. Or maybe you do, and you just disown the niggas, but it is what it is.
Shout out to Meghan Markle.
Yeah, man. But nobody's came yet. I gave it a little bit. For future stuff, I'll drop it in a little bit earlier. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Or anybody that watches this after the fact, we appreciate you guys for watching it. Comment. Thank you for being in pretty consistently throughout the whole thing. I'm going to aim to get you and Kaori on for a discussion Wednesday, depending on y'all schedules. If y'all can get y'all on, I'll probably play a game or play something. I still got to finish that damn Last of Us campaign that I started a while ago. So I got to play through that. But again, if you guys are interested in anything else I have going on the channel, let me know. If you have any suggestions for any kind of video essays that you want to see, let me know in the comments below. I'm working on the Black people in the horror one right now. I'm pretty much just knocking out a lot of the videos that I had like in the vault that I had not hadn't finished. Like I literally started the intro for that video and never finished it. So I'm finishing that up, and I did have somebody request a Spawn video. So I may or may not do a quick one on like the movie, because that's what I can attest to. I didn't read all the issues of that growing up. So
watch the old cartoon. It's quick.
I watched that too, but it didn't make as much of an impact on me, I feel like, as the movie did. Because one, the practical effects looked sick at the time. He just looked sick in design. It was a black man in TV. For me, like, growing up, that was like that and Blade left a big impression on me growing up. Even though I wasn't supposed to be watching it for real, because for reasons. But it is what it is. So again, if you guys have any suggestions like that, let me know, and I'll try to do my best to get that stuff made. I'm a little slower on making scripts now. I'm doing too much research on stuff, but it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Captain Diesel and Lelouch V, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You're now watching the Captain.